don't have a job to find. And if I were tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home.
Greetings everyone, it's the Average Movie Viewer here. It's Infinity War month this month, and to celebrate, I feel like I should rank every single Marvel movie from worst to best. Now, this is going to be in 3 separate parts, so we're going to have 3 phases. So we're going to have 6, 6, 6. Wow, that actually worked out pretty well, didn't it? Being 18 movies. So there's going to be technically 3 phases in how I'm doing this. So, first of all, we're starting from the lowest 6, then the medium range, then we're getting into the top 6. Doesn't sound right, top 6 list. It should be top 5, but either way, top 6. So that's how this is going to work. And one more thing, just because a movie, gets down to the bottom, doesn't mean it's unwatchable. Just means that it's probably, the way I put it, is the worst of the Marvel movies. But it's the worst of the Marvel movies is still better than a lot of other movies that are coming out today. So let's get started. So Iron Man 2 comes in at number 18, down at the bottom. Now, I feel this movie was just made to buy time for the Avengers to come out. I mean, we didn't really need a second Iron Man before the first Avengers. We had our origin story with Iron Man. We even had all the origins with, Thor, Captain America, and the Hulk. We got our origins. We didn't need a second one. And you can tell that this was it was a bit lazy. The movie was a bit lazy to me. Things just didn't fit properly in a way. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. creating this element, yeah, okay. Or rediscovering an element, sorry, but yeah, okay, I can suspend my disbelief with that. But some of the, I don't even know how to actually describe it, guys. I honestly can't. It is the worst of the Marvel movies. That's why it's down here. I don't really have much I want to say about this, because, I don't really watch it that much. Number 17 is Thor: The Dark World. Now, let's just start by talking about the villain. The villain is utterly forgettable. I'm pretty sure you guys don't even remember the guy's name, Malekith. You're probably thinking, that just sounds like something from Lord of the Rings or something, so a bit lazy there. Villain had no depth to him. We got Loki again. That's an upside. Loki's an upside for these movies. Thor, Chris Hemsworth did extremely well again in the role. He is Thor. Natalie Portman. It sort of felt like Natalie Portman didn't want to be in this movie, in a way. After the first one, I feel like she was done already, so maybe it was just, I don't know, with her. And then, I believe her name was Kat Dennings. I honestly can't remember her name, but, Jane's assistant in the movie. I cannot stand her brand of comedy. It does not work for me. Meow meow? What's meow meow? That is so stupid. I don't get why they put that in there. Maybe some of the good things are, well, of course I gotta say some good things about this movie as well. I mean, CG's great. We got an introduction to the Ether, which is going to be one of the Infinity Stones. So it sets up. It does set up stuff, but it's too busy trying to explain more lore where we don't really need the lore. We just need the continuation of the character that has been developed. So number 16 is going to be The Incredible Hulk. Now, I don't really have much to say about this one, just like Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World. But this movie actually has a little bit of draw to it, I will admit. I mean, Edward Norton playing Bruce Banner, he did really well. It is a shame that he couldn't work well with the rest of the crew or behind the scenes, but we got Mark Ruffalo now, which is even better. But I don't know, I don't really remember much of The Incredible Hulk. It was just it felt slow, and it also had a little bit of, I don't know. I just don't remember it that much. That's pretty much why I put it at number 16. I remember Iron Man 2, and I remember Thor: The Dark World. Not being impressed. This I don't remember very well, so it's gonna go down the bottom here, but it's not the worst. This movie will probably be a lot higher on a lot of people's lists, but I put it down here at number 15 because I don't know really. It just didn't have the same appeal as the original, which is Iron Man 3. Now, it's a completely different movie that doesn't feel like it fits into the MCU. I mean, Shane Black, don't get me wrong, is an incredible director. He is incredible. But he made his own type of movie in this, in the MCU. It was all on its own, but of course it had the Shane Blackisms, as we know, everything's filmed on Christmas, so we had that. We had Iron Man barely being Iron Man, which I know is a story point because he's gone through a lot of trauma from the Battle of New York. It's understandable, but we don't want to spend an hour and a half with a dreary Robert Downey Jr. and I don't know. And the Extremis, that I understand that it is in the comics, but it doesn't translate well for TV or for the live screen. And also, Aldrich Killian wasn't not a very good villain, I gotta say. And of course I gotta bring this up, which, you know, I am a big fan of the Mandarin, and the fact that they literally gave us the Mandarin and then took it away from us. I sort of feel a little rotted on that, and you know, that is a big part of why this movie is also down at the bottom of the list. So at 14, we've got Avengers Age of Ultron. This movie was bloated. There was way too much going on in this, and I really don't know what. After seeing the first Avengers, that was a perfect movie, and then we heard about Avengers 2 coming out. We got the trailers. It had this really dark, ominous tone. It felt like it was going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel Universe. And then it was released, and we realized we were wrong. Now, like I said before I started giving the list, that none of these movies are like the worst movies made. Just comparing it to the Marvel formula and how they crank out these movies, this was bloated. Some characters I feel did not get the development that they actually should have. I'm glad that Hawkeye finally got time to shine. I mean, Jeremy Renner is phenomenal as Hawkeye, but he just gets nothing to do. But this is a positive for this movie, that Hawkeye finally gets some time. What else have we got in this? Yeah, the villain was basically Tony Stark. Yeah, Ultron, sure, whatever, but, you know, it was Tony Stark, and we didn't really need that, considering, you know, eventually down the line we were getting Civil War, and it was already said that we were getting Civil War, so it just seemed a bit weird that Iron Man was sort of a villain, even though I know it's Ultron, but I don't care. It's basically Tony Stark, and there's something about having two smartasses like Tony Stark and Ultron quipping at each other where they have the same thought process. It didn't work for me. You know, the introduction of Scarlet Witch was phenomenal. I love that character. You know, they could have kept Quicksilver around, but I can understand why they killed him off, but there's some little parts about this movie that just keep it from being in the middle of the bunch. It's just, I think it was a 2.5-hour movie with way too much in it. Now down to number 13, which is the original Thor movie. This movie is good, it's fun, it's funny. There are a few stale moments in there, but it was the idea of translating the God of Thunder and Asgard to live action. They did it well. I didn't expect to believe that Asgard was a real place, but Marvel knows what they're doing here. And I know I sound like I'm praising this movie as well for being great, but it's how all the Marvel movies are. It's really hard to rank these. And I just had to put this in this position because, all the other movies have built off what they started with. They've been able to improve their formula. So, I think this is a nice spot for Thor. Natalie Portman, she was actually great in this one. Kat Dennings, not a fan. Stellan Skarsgård, pretty good to actually see him in there. I didn't expect to see like a very well classical trained actor in there. And we also get the introduction to our best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Loki, Tom Hiddleston. He is so captivating watching this movie. And the camaraderie, or not camaraderie, but the Thor and Loki go together very well. Those two work well together. Well everyone, we've come to the end of our first ranking video. We've got 18 to 13. Next one is going to be the next 6. So this is going to be the middle of the pack. And then after that we'll be getting to the best of the Marvel movies. As always, I am the Average Movie Viewer. I'll catch you next time.